Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist James Long with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC, and today we're going to talk about that major winter storm that's bringing heavy snowfall and blizzard conditions to the upper Midwest and the upper Mississippi Valley region before moving off into the Northeast, where the Northeast is expected to see some snowfall with this system too. But first, before we get into today's video, I do want to encourage you guys to hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel for more weather-related videos like this. Also, be sure to share this video with your friends and family to help let this channel grow. We're nearing 1,000 subscribers, so I want to thank everyone who has subscribed over the past couple of weeks. Also, be sure to check us out on social media, where you can send us your weather-related photos and videos that we'd like to share in our next and upcoming videos. The link to our social media pages can be found down below in the description. You can also visit us online at dynamicweatheragency.com for more weather-related information. And at last but not least, be sure to check out our Patreon page to help support this channel so I can continue to make weather-related content like this and storm chasing videos like you can see down below, and fund some of our research efforts we have here at Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. We have many different tiers and packages ranging from $1 to $20 with many different perks and exclusive content to our Patreon subscribers. Again, the link is down below in the description. So as we take a look at our national radars, we take a look at the western parts of the U.S., west of the Rockies. We're not seeing much impacts over there with this nice upper level ridge that's been building into the region that's bringing nice drier conditions to the area. Now we have this deep upper level trough that's moving across parts of the central U.S., east of the Rockies, and you can see some of this precipitation that we have, in parts of the, central plains into parts of the upper Midwest, and we see some of those snow conditions starting to occur in parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. We also have some isolated snow showers in parts of the Northeast this morning. Now, as we take a look at our satellite imagery, we're going to take a look at water vapor. This is a measure of water content in our atmosphere. We have this nice upper level ridge that's, affecting parts of the western U.S. You can see all this moisture is being forced up to ride up over the ridge, pushing its way up into, British Columbia, kind of keep limiting the amount of moisture that we have moving over the Pacific Northwest and the western U.S. We have this nice deep upper level trough with our jet stream that's bringing this nice push of cold air into the region. You can see our old low pressure system. This is our occluded system with this nice low pressure system over in Canada, with our new low pressure system that's beginning to develop in parts of the upper Midwest and the upper Mississippi Valley region that's going to eventually stall out over this region, bringing some of those heavy snowfall conditions. Now, taking a look at our national forecast for the next 72 hours, we are expecting to see some rain showers continue in parts of the Pacific Northwest. We're not expecting much like we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks, as we mentioned in our previous video, where this area has been, decimated by rainfall over the last 2 weeks. That's causing, some flooding concerns over there, and also the, increased soil moisture content that's leading to some landslides and mudslides across that region that we've been seeing reported over there. Now, with this deep upper level trough and this push of cold air and these low pressure systems moving into the upper Midwest region, we're expecting to see some major winter storm conditions up here. We're going to see some very heavy snowfall, and not only that, this very steep pressure gradient and upper level contour gradient we have moving in is mixing winds down to the surface. That's going to allow for some very strong wind gusts across this region. That's going to allow for some blowing and drifting snow. That's going to reduce visibility to less than a quarter mile. That's going to meet blizzard criteria. As you'll see, we'll have some blizzard warnings in effect for parts of this upper Midwest and upper Mississippi Valley region. Across parts of the southeast and mid-Atlantics, there's some chances for some rain showers, and then as the system moves out of the upper Midwest and transitions across the Ohio Valley region, we'll see some snowfall conditions in parts of the Appalachian Mountain regions and in parts of the Northeast. And taking a look at our National Weather Service current hazards, not only is, the winter weather advisory, storm warnings, and blizzard warnings that you're going to see here in a little bit are, a major concern. We are seeing very high winds across, parts of the upper plains and parts of the central plains today. That's going to be moving its way into parts of that upper Midwest region. And we talked about this yesterday in our video too. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a picture of all the wind reports coming in yesterday, as I can't get the website to work. But we saw some very high wind reports across this region yesterday, and as I was monitoring this, we were seeing wind reports above 70 miles per hour in many locations. We were even seeing wind reports, in the 80s and even approaching 90 miles per hour, with the highest wind report I saw yesterday of 105 miles per hour in parts of southeastern Wyoming. Now, if you want to put that into perspective, as into tornadoes and hurricanes. We were seeing winds yesterday across the region, as a EF0 to EF1 tornado, with that high wind gust of 105 miles per hour just being 6 miles per hour shy of, wind speeds of a EF2 tornado. If you put that into, the hurricane scale, we were seeing category 1 hurricane strength winds across parts of the upper plains into the upper Midwest, into the central plains yesterday, with, that 105 mile an hour wind gust, being a category 2 type hurricane type wind, with winds, about 6 miles an hour shy of, what would be a category 3 hurricane. Those are some very strong non-convective winds. These winds were happening outside of thunderstorms. These are due to very tight pressure and contour gradients of winds mixing down to the surface. And these winds were causing, major damage across the area. As you can see, we were seeing some, significant power outages across the region. Some of these have finally died down as they got power restored to some areas. But, we were seeing significant power outages, and there was a lot of reports of, down-powered lines, snapped tree limbs across the area, and blown over semis across the area due to these very strong winds. And what I mean by this steep pressure gradient, so taking a look at our surface chart, we were mentioning, this pressure gradient that's, driving some of these winds. And basically, the pressure gradient is, the change of pressure over a distance. As we take a look at the upper Great Plains region, you can see as you go across, you don't have to travel that far of a distance to cross multiple contour lines. And these lines right here are lines of equal pressure. So you take a look at the southeast, look how much more distance you have to, travel to cross these contour lines right here. This is why this area is seeing, weaker winds. As we take a look at the pressure of this low, the pressure of this low is around 992 millibars, probably a little bit lower, probably closer to 990 millibars. As we take a look at the pressure of these high pressure systems over the Pacific Northwest, 1039, 1038, so around 1040 millibars, that is a 50 millibar difference in pressure over a short distance. That's why, we're seeing some of these very strong winds across this area. As we take a look at our, 850 millibar winds, this is just a little bit higher up in the atmosphere. We're seeing, 60, 70, 80 knot winds just a little bit higher up in our atmosphere. And these winds are mixing their way down to the surface. As we take a look at our SKU-T, taking a look at the wind barbs right here, all these winds are in the same direction. They're very zonal. And we don't have any major inversions or anything like that. So with these strong surface winds is allowing for some turbulent mixing, and these winds with the cold air advection are just mixing its way down to the surface, creating very strong wind gusts across the area. As you take a look at our current wind gusts, you can see like Bismarck, North Dakota, and Minot, 62, 61 mile per hour wind gusts. These are current wind gusts as observed by, mesonet stations across the region. Rapid City, South Dakota, look at that, 62 mile per hour wind gusts across this area. Those are very strong winds. These are winds that are not occurring from thunderstorms. And, thunderstorm wind gusts, those can last for just, a matter of minutes. These are lasting and persisting for, a couple of hours across this region. Now, taking a look at our current National Weather Service winter hazards, this is something new we haven't really got to talk about yet this season, but we do have some blizzard warnings in parts of eastern South Dakota, parts of southwestern Minnesota, extreme northeastern Nebraska, and parts of western Iowa, with some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings around that. Now, as we take a look at our day one winter storm severity index, we do have some minor and moderate conditions occurring in parts of the upper Midwest today with that major winter storm that's moving on through. As we move into day two, this is tomorrow, we can see some of those minor impacts again with this major winter storm that's moving on through. And as we move into day three, we can see some of those impacts lessening across the area, with some of those impacts now affecting parts of the northeast. We do see some minor impacts with this storm system as it moves on over there, producing some snowfall. Now, as we talk about those winter storm severity index, some of those minor impacts that we are seeing across the area, this roughly equates to, NWS advisory level criteria, with some minor disruptions primarily to those who are not prepared for this major winter storm. None to minimal recovery time is needed. And we did have some of those, moderate impacts across those areas, which, roughly equates to NWS warning level criteria. definite impacts to those with little preparation for this major winter storm. Perhaps a day or two of recovery time with some of the snowfall and ice accumulations to subside. So as we take a look at what's going on synoptically, we see this nice upper level ridge that's going to intensify over the next 72 hours. And then you see this nice upper level trough that was deepening as that jet max and that short wave moves into the base of that trough, helping deepen that trough, bringing a nice push of cold air. Now as this loop restarts, you notice the low pressure system that gets stalled out over the Great Lakes in the upper Midwest region is losing that upper level support as that jet max and that short wave moves to the south. And as that jet max and that short wave moves towards the east coast, we'll see new low pressure development over there that's going to be bringing that snowfall to the northeast. Now as we take a look at our 500 millibar vorticity, we have this nice sharp amplitude upper level ridge that's going to develop, this nice deep upper level trough that's going to be bringing this nice push of cold air. That vort max is going to move out ahead of it, and we can see that new low pressure system developing in the northeast. Now with the sharp amplitude ridge that's going to develop in the Pacific Northwest, is going to block some of the moisture and some of the systems moving into the region. This upper level trough is going to bring that nice push of cold air. Again, that low pressure system is going to stall out over the region as those upper level support features move out ahead of it. And then again, we're going to see that low pressure system develop over the northeast. It's going to bring some of that snowfall to that region. Again, just taking another look at that, you got this nice sharp amplitude upper level ridge, this Rex blocking pattern. So we have this high over this low. And we have this nice cold air advection, neutral vorticity advection, bringing drier and better conditions to parts of the upper Great Plains and the west coast. You have this deep upper level trough and this upper level low that's going to get stalled out to the region. You see this nice short wave that's further to the south that's going to allow this upper level low to fill and be stalled over this region as it loses that upper level support. We have this nice area of PVA and diffluent flow up ahead of it. It's going to allow for that cyclogenesis and that triple point cyclogenesis to occur. That's going to allow for this new low pressure to develop. That's going to be bringing its way into parts of the northeast where we're going to see some of that snow. And we can see how nice and mature the system is as we see this nice wave-induced ridge that's beginning to develop with this system, just showing just how mature this upper level cyclone is going to become. Taking a look at our futurecast radar, we have that low pressure system located over Canada with that old occluded low, and then we're going to see this new low pressure system begin to develop in parts of the upper Midwest. Take a look at northeastern Iowa as we go out throughout the day today, even into tomorrow. So as we go into the afternoon and to the evening of today, you can see that low pressure system beginning to develop as we move into the overnight hours. As we go into Friday into Saturday, you can see that low pressure system is going to begin to start filling over parts of the upper Great Plains and into the Midwest region. And as we go Friday into Saturday, we'll see this new low pressure system begin to develop as this system transitions across the Appalachian Mountain regions. You can see that low pressure system developing, moving its way across the northeast, bringing some of that snowfall to that region as we go Saturday into Sunday. And now taking a look at our models for our snowfall totals, this is a good comparison. Take a look at what the European did over the last 24 hours. Yesterday, this is the European 6Z model run yesterday on the left, and this is today's 6Z model run on the right. And you can see, and these are looking at the same timestamps, the same ending timestamp, 3Z on the 16th. Both of them are looking at that. Take a look at the difference. Yesterday's European model on the left, today's European model on the right. We were mentioning in yesterday's video how we were expecting the European model was under forecasting some of the snowfall totals across the region. And you see today the European model starting to, suggest some of those higher snowfall totals. As we take a look at our European model for the next 72 hours, the European model, again, like we said, has now increased the snowfall totals. Nice swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow expected across parts of the upper Midwest. You're seeing some of that heavy snowfall expected across parts of the Northeast. Take a look at the GFS. Look, the GFS moves this a little bit further to the west, a little bit less snowfall totals amounts. Does agree that there is going to be some significant snowfall across parts of the Northeast. Taking a look at the UK Met. The UK Met is a little bit closely resembling the European model. We do see that nice swath of some heavy snowfall, 5 to 8 inches, parts of the upper Midwest. Does show a little bit hints of sign of some of that heavy snowfall in the Northeast, a little bit less than the European and the GFS. As we take a look at the NAM model, the NAM doesn't go out 72 hours. We're only looking out 60 hours. But the NAM suggesting some very heavy snowfall across parts of the upper Midwest. You can see that Minnesota, Iowa, 5 to 8 inches of snow with some isolated areas that's seen 8 to 12 inches of snowfall. Again, you can see some of that snowfall beginning to develop as it doesn't go out 72 hours across parts of the Northeast. but closely resembling some of the UK Met and a little bit of the European model. As we take a look at the National Weather Service, a blend of models for 72 hours. Again, this closely is resembling this, NAM model. You can see, pretty much similar conditions, just a little bit further to the south and to the east as some of this heavy snowfall. But again, very heavy snowfall, 5 to 8 inches, some isolated 8 to 12 inches within this heavy snowfall in the upper Midwest. You can see some of that heavy snowfall expected to begin to develop across parts of the Northeast with this model. National Weather Service's gridded forecast. This is their forecast for the next 72 hours. Again, they're in agreement to this nice area of 5 to 8 inches of snow. They actually got rid of this lake effect, and most of the models are not, expecting to see some of this lake effect snow. Now, we are going to include that lake effect snow because we're expecting to see some higher snowfall totals across that area. But the National Weather Service's forecast is also expecting to see some of that heavy snowfall move its way into the Northeast, and we will be posting a forecast map on that a little bit later. And taking a look at our 72-hour forecast with one of our in-house models, again, we have this nice big swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow, maybe an isolated area of 8 to 12. Could see some lake effect snow in the Pacific, in the Northeast with Lake Ontario and parts of northern New York, and some of the higher snowfall totals in the Northeast with some of the mountains. Taking a closer look at our in-house model, again showing 8 inches of snow for Rochester, Fort Dodge 8 inches, Des Moines, Waterloo 7 inches of snow, Marshall 5 inches, Sioux City, Sioux Falls basically 3 to 5 inches of snow, Fargo, Grand Forks basically 2 to 5 inches of snow, Davenport 3 to 5 inches of snow, Peoria 1 to 3 inches of snow, Milwaukee 1 to 3, Green Bay 3 to 5. Grand Rapids 1 to 3, Traverse City 1 to 3, Fort Wayne 1 to 3, Indianapolis you're in about 1 inch or less of snowfall with this upcoming major winter storm. As you take a look at the Northeast, again you can see we have this nice area of 5 to 8 inches of snow with some lake effect expected off of Lake Ontario. You see some of those higher snowfall totals with the higher elevations in Vermont, New Hampshire, and even into Maine. Now, taking a look at our 72-hour hand-drawn forecast, this closely resembles our in-house model. The only difference we made was we added this little area of lake effect snow on Lake Superior. We're still expecting to see some of these long northeasterly winds across Lake Superior that are going to switch to more northerly. That should, allow for some lake-enhanced precipitation or snowfall across this region. As these lakes are still a little bit warm. Because the water in the lakes takes a little bit longer to cool off. We're still seeing some a little bit warm lake waters that should allow for some nice fetch and some nice moisture transport across the lake that should enhance some lake effect snow across this region. Again, we're expecting to see this nice big swath of 8 to 12 with 5 to 8 in this small area of 8 to 12 in parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. As this low pressure system stalls out over the region with some of the moisture wrapping around this low pressure system, that should enhance some snowfall across this area, as this will persist for about an 18 to 24 hour period with the snowfall over that area. So we should see some higher snowfall totals in this region because of that. Now, taking a look at our severe weather forecast, again, severe weather conditions are going to remain quiet for about the next 5 to 7 days. We're not expecting to see much as in severe weather impacts. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to also share this video with your friends and family so we can help make this channel grow. If you haven't already checked us out on social media or our website, dynamicweatheragency.com, you can find those links down below in the description. I am meteorologist James Longworth signing off on today's video. You guys have a great day.